Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday's lesson, one step closer to the weekend. Please could you write down the date and title and underline them in your homework books? Thank you. Let's begin. So this is going to be our final lesson today on looking specifically at question 3. So I've told you before about why we're continuing to put lots of energy into this question. In your previous round of mocks in November, it was this skill of language analysis where actually we were quite weak as a cohort. So it's really vital that we give enough time to question 3 in this paper so we get some better results next time round. So as we've been doing for the whole week, we're going to analyse, write as word choices, and we're going to annotate and extract. We're going to jump straight into question 3 again today, just so that we don't have any time wasted and we can give it our entire focus, because just like yesterday, I'd like you to try and be a little more independent. So the question today is, how does Arthur Munby use language to describe the snow in London? Here's your key vocabulary for the extract. Again, some of these words you may know, which is super, but some you might not. And if you don't know these words, please could you record them in your books? Thank you. I've just noticed the word wholly here is a fabulous little word. It means entirely, wholly or entirely incapable of movement. So if you want to add that one in as well, I'll stop talking. Please pause your video and write these down. Thank you. Okie dokes. Here is your extract. So it's about snow in London. You may need 10 minutes, hopefully you might not need that long, but take your time to read it through. It's written in the language of the 19th century, so there may be words you're unfamiliar with. You've heard it now a billion times perhaps, going into the billion numbers. If you do not understand it, do not panic, do not beat yourself up. You just kind of skim read over the bits you do not understand, and you really, really focus on bits you do. So read the question, read the extract, consider how language is used to describe snow, and try and push yourself to identify a semantic field. Pause your video now, please. Did you manage to identify the semantic field? Let's see. So when I read this the first time, I spotted a pattern occurring. So I spotted a pattern of kind of serenity, which means tranquility or calmness or peacefulness. We have the words noiselessly, quiet, empty, silence. The noisy vehicles are paralysed. It falls without force or sound, and London becomes still. Now, you wouldn't say to the examiner, there's a semantic field of quietness or silence, because you would just be using the words of the extract, not using your own intelligence. You'd need to use a synonym, so a different piece of vocabulary to mean the same word. So you could say there's a semantic field of peacefulness or serenity, and then you'd explain the effect. We'll do that later. So your independent task today is, just like yesterday, got to choose 4 quotations. If 4 seems too much for the lesson and the time you have, I know they've been shortened, try to choose 2 to 3. They have to be about Arthur Munby's feelings towards the snow. Keep them short, keep them focused, keep them juicy. Then you analyse your quotes in your book. You can use the exploding technique I use of arrows, or you can just do bullet points. Think of why the writer chose a particular word. Is there a technique? If there is, you must explain the effect. Don't spot it and say nothing. Then you'll write up your analysis in peat paragraphs. You're going to try to do this independently, but as I'm not there in the lesson with you, I will provide you with some help on the next few slides if you need it. However, before I set you loose on your own, I want you to have a look at this image here, which I found a long time ago, and I think it really supports students with your mindsets. Quite often, me included, we have a mindset where we think we can't do it, so we're not even going to attempt to. So this is a great little graphic to show you how you can change your mindset. You may be thinking, oh, I won't do it, I'm tired, I want a nap, don't want to be in school. And then you may convince yourself, I can't do it anyway, so what's even the point? But then a small voice might remind you, these exams can dictate the rest of your future. So a quiet voice inside might say, but I do want to give it a go. But then how do I do it? Fine, I'll try. I can. I will. I did it. So this is the kind of mindset I want you to go through. Don't get stuck on this bottom step here, I won't do it, or I can't do it. Use your teachers. You have me, you have your Sherpas, your academic mentors, you have even a teacher that you like in school that you haven't perhaps emailed in lockdown yet who could support you. We're here to get you up this ladder or the mountain. So at this point or juncture, if you would like to now go it alone, start selecting your quotes and annotating them and doing your PEAT, please pause your video, rewind and take control. If you want to stay with me and have a bit more support, we're going to continue with the presentation. So those of you still with me, this is my example. You may be noticing I'm going into more and more detail each time, because the more times I'm doing it, the easier it's becoming. So my quotation I've chosen is, all things huge and hasty and noisy were paralysed, which means stopped in a moment. If you're paralysed, you cannot move. So what have I said for the ands? Well, first of all, the technique is polysyntheton, but you could also say there's some hyperbole here, which is exaggeration of all, everything stopping. This, to my mind, shows the magnificent power of the snow. So I've told the reader, the examiner even, the effect. It shows the power of the snow. But I want to give the examiner more of an idea that I know how polysyntheton has been used. Mumby's use of polysyntheton makes him sound in awe, so amazed, by its ability to cancel out all noise. The repeated and, which is the polysyntheton, shows how amazed he is that it can cancel out not just the haste, but the noise too, and the noise of all vehicles, large and small. The snow is able to mute means silence. The snow is able to mute it all, showing its incredible, almost mystical or magical power. Then, for paralysed in a moment, I put personifying the wagons and carriages that would usually be making noise as paralysed. So it's giving it human characteristics or actions here. A human or an animal is paralysed, not an inanimate object like a wagon or a carriage. Shows that they are trapped in the grip of the snow. Here it seems to suggest the snow is almighty, almost like a god, and extremely strong because it can halt anything. It can immobilise, so stop something moving, anything in its path. The snow sounds like a great force of nature that could easily obliterate, destroy anything that threatens it. The time reference, in a moment, further emphasises its unstoppable power because it can happen instantly. If you need to, pause this, have another read through, make sure you understand where my ideas have come from. Then be brave, don't think I can't do this and I won't do it. Have a go, write anything. You're not going to be judged in this situation. It's better to get some ideas on paper and it will warm you up. I'm certainly finding with these lessons, the more I'm doing, the easier it's becoming. Once you've done this, if you'd like some support with PEAT, you can move on with me when you're ready. So, before we go on to PEAT, this is what I've also done for you. I have provided you with some exemplar quotations you might want to use. So these are some ones I think are a little bit juicy. You can pull some ideas from. You don't need to choose mine. You can choose your own. And if you'd like more support, here's how we'd write up the PEAT. Well, I've renamed him or her now, Peter. There should be an A there. So if you're still struggling, you have my model here. You now need to take charge of this video, pause it, rewind it, use it how you like in order to support you to be able to create your own piece of analysis. Thank you. And your lesson is complete. I really hope you all managed to do some independent work in the lesson today. And I look forward to seeing you for our final lesson of the week. Not ever, unfortunately. Final lesson of the week tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.